Pagbe yona ayan dewa ejen dokam sojen garje reise donje den gombe doze jeden ba varden garjin jalla zorwande. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm going to share some short information about my experience with my Guru. So this is just a kind of more normal conversation. So, easy follow. First, I wanted to starting from my when I take the refuge. So it is 1981. 1981, I seeing my previous life connection guru. So 1981, in Tibet, the one monastery, they're gathering lots lamas, and they're sharing the empowerment and transmissions. So that time is I was 7 years old. So Tibetan calendar, I was 7 years old. English calendar, I am 6 years old. So before that, I don't know anything about lamas. So I don't know anything, religions, anything, nothing. So then 1981, my parents and one of group, they're going to go 2 days journey, very far away. And they take the horse. And me and my younger brother, so my parents and many other village groups going to receive some blessings from the teachers. So I don't know that time. And then we went to the 2 days journey, and the last day, so we crossed the one mountain, and then we see the monastery is the other side. So they have 100 tents set up, and they're doing this the empowerment rituals and transformations. So that is the first time restarting this Buddha Dharma again in Tibet, because due to this cultural revolutionary and 1960 all the way to 80, no any Dharma in Tibet. So this all the teachers released from the prison, and in 1981 they're gathering together in the part of the Kham, my hometown area. So they're doing this, actually that time is one teacher, he has all the empowerment and the transformations he giving for everyone, that sharing is called Kaju Hanzu. So we saw the monastery and 100 tents set up. So then we of course have to go down and then go to other side to monastery. So we get to the other side of the monastery, and the almost sunset time. So I don't remember that much, but I have I remember still something. That part is I have very strong kind of coming imprints, connections. So actually I don't remember before that anything. And only just at that time, I saw the monastery, still I have that vision in my mind. Can feel that, see that temple. So we get in the sunset time, and everyone just set up the tent. We have many groups. My mother left. So my father has a very strong patience, so he have to set up the tent and take care of the horses, and also, is have to make the dinner, so he have to do that, and we have a group together. So I remember, other like families like kind of like saying something. My mother is not great because like she just left. And next time my mother come back, she shares something. I don't have any idea. She says like Lama asked to come to tomorrow. He asked me, is it you have bring your son? She told the Lama, I have a son. So he asked bring the tomorrow the son. And that kind of she shared something. She went to looking for Garchen Rinpoche when we get there. So that is like, she really wanted to meet Rinpoche. It's many years she didn't meet. They are in the prison together, but after that, like she released before the Garchen Rinpoche from the prison, so she didn't meet. Then she come back to my hometown and get married, have family, and so she didn't meet before. So she wanted to meet Rinpoche, that's why she left. She looking, where is he? So she found the Garchen Rinpoche and come back evening. Next day, she said, all the village people have to go to see Rinpoche, Garchen Rinpoche. So he has a morning teaching. Teaching means he have to join that, program. So lunchtime he come back. We waiting the outside of his tent. We waiting outside the tent. He come back. Remember he walked very fast, go into the tent. Everybody did post station outside of the tent, and we get in he opening up the tent. So tent is very small, and he have some attendants. So then we just sit there, and then Garchen Rinpoche, he ask questions with talking with something my mother, and then he say he going to do the refuge ceremony. So in Tibet, take refuge means like you must be monk. So usually they let people don't take the refuge. Okay, so that time then he said who wanted to be monk. So we have many kids because we have a group together, and so he take the refuge. All these kids, like maybe five kids there. So he took all the refuge, and he asked me come too close to him. So I sit next to his to him, and then I don't remember clearly. So some connections, reasons, because of like 2-3 months ago, I wanted to write something, my mother's biography, and I asked him to I asked him to recording some, what she has like some like these stories, like what she were like parents and the family and what go through or she went to prison with all these lamas together. And I wanted to know that, and I asked her to share her story. So in Tibet, like I have one friend, he went to see my mother and he asked all questions and they make recording. And some sent it to me, but I told them don't send me everything. So due to the safeties. And so anyway, so I received some. So she shared this part too. That when I talk the refuge, that part that has. So then Garchen Rinpoche gave this refuge for everyone, and they have many 4 kids. I think 4 or 5 kids took the refuge. So when we have to left, before he said like he gave me my name. Like of course when we take refuge, change the name. So he gave my name is Koncho Tashi Samdup. So before my name is Tashin Dugda. So he changed it to the Koncho Tashi Samdup. He gave me that name. And he said, you have to come to Gar Monastery. So he telling my mother, send me Koncho Tashi Samdup to Gar Monastery. So he told my mother, and he didn't say any other these kids. So some connections, see, after I see, it's like, only went to Gar Monastery. Other who took the refuge that time, no one went to Gar Monastery. So some is monk, but different monastery they went, joined the different monasteries. Some is just become lay people. So then we have to leave the next day, but then he told Refuge, I have very strong connections, like some reasons I don't know, because it's a kids, So when they go to in the temple gathering there, we cannot go in because only the monks and the lamas can go in. His temple is not that big. We have to be outside. So I waiting him when he come outside. And when he comes outside, I follow him, So then anyways, that next day we have to leave. Next day we have to leave. So, and just no choice. I wanted to stay, some reason, but have to leave. We all grew up because I wanted to go there. Gathering this program is already many months. The horse didn't get, food, grass much. So that's the reason they cannot stay long there, and we have to leave. And then we left the monastery, and they have one mountain. It's called Horse Air Mountain. The mountain is shape is the same as exactly same as the horse. Horse's air. So people go to circumambulate that mountain because it's a holy mountain. And we left the monastery couple hours away because where they have more grass for horse can eat. And then they wanted to make lunch, and make people went to get the firewood and make the fire and going to cook the food, the lunch. So during that time, my mother says I run away, and nobody knows I'm run away because going back to I told her when we left monastery, she said I'm crying. I said I'm not going. I wanted to stay with my teacher, Lama. I wanted to stay my Lama. So then they forcingly, put in the horse. So, and then they told me with them. So anyway, during that lunchtime, and I ran away, and some reasons they see I'm not there, Then some people the walking, and some people, ride the horse, and chasing me. So anyway, they called me and said back with them together. So that's that kind of, I have that first when I meet the Garchen Rinpoche is connections. Actually, they have many lamas, teachers, or it's Rinpoches, different monasteries. But that time is not really connection much others. Some reasons have a very strong connection with the Garchen Rinpoche. And then I went back to my home, and after, my mother always talking about Garchen Rinpoche's stories. So I have some pieces always hearing. So I don't have very clearly. So that's why I wanted to ask her to, tape recording, what she has stories. So I listening the tape recording like couple of months ago. So my mother make recording. I thought my mother is going pass away like maybe this year, like very soon. So she's really sick. So before that, I wanted to get informations. That's why I asked her to make tape record. And so anyway, I listening this what she has tape record. The Garchen Rinpoche is coming to her parents' home when he was young. So my mother said, all the time, and he come to stay there many days, many days. So also sometimes do big pujas, drupchins, the hosting, the family hosting. Because my mother's family is, Garchen Rinpoche said, very rich that time, they can sponsor for the drupchins. And the many lamas come to, they do always some rituals, pujas, the hosting. So then, they grow up together, and a friend, we don't say like respectively, they are best friend kind of like that, and when they was young. So then my mother's father is, she said he was sick. Then Garchen Rinpoche, if he was young, he come to my mother's home. So they asked him what they have to do for her father. So the Garchen Rinpoche told my mother's family, he told them is have to chant the Kanjo text. You know, Kanjo text is like have 100 volumes. It's all the Buddha's teaching, right? So he told the family have to chant that whole text. So then family invited many readers, different kind of areas. So they're chanting this text. So that takes 1 month, going to finish because it's lots. That 100 volumes is a lot to have to finish. So they're going to finish it. So then her father, my mother says her father said he have to change clothes. So he have to change clothes. He changed clothes, and he told her he need like not lay down. He have to sit up. So he told her like put all the whole to his sittings. Then he sat up, and he told my mother and put another chair in front of him. So then my mother put a chair in the front of her father, actually her father. So then he told my mother and she has one brother and my mother's mother, told them is like we have to make big party for the readers, Kanjo readers, because it's going to finish tomorrow. So we have to make celebration for them. And then he told them is like is another teacher there. So he at that time at that home. So he asked him to come the teacher Lama. It's another Rinpoche. So that Rinpoche is called Ziga Control Rinpoche. Is like he is in U.S. but he's previous one. So that person is that time is my mother's home. So he come to and talked with my mother's father, and then actually he just come there and he have to leave. So but some reasons then he said he going to stay, and then he shared some teachings for my mother's father, and then he passed away. My mother's father is passed away, but when he passed away is through the sitting, posture is like Tukdam, Tukdam meditation. And he stayed like 7 days like that, Tukdam meditation, and passed away. So then that time Garchen Rinpoche is not too far. He stayed in another monastery. So my mother went to there, asked him. So he come and he did all these ritual things for him. It's my mother's father, did this all ritual prayer for him. So see, Garchen Rinpoche told give suggestions, have to chant the whole Kanjo text. When they finish Kanjo text, he passed away same time. That is also his one of like clairvoyance, understanding, And then they have many stories, but I cannot share due to my time, So anyway, couple years after, then Garchen Rinpoche come back to in the hometown, and he meet my mother. So he asked like what going on your family. So my mother said, we wanted to sell all the barleys to going to buy the amber. Amber is like in the Tibet the families the thing is precious jewel, something that they like that, very expensive. So my mother's family has lots of barley. Barley is for food, right? People's food, but rich family has lots. So they wanted to sell that, and there's some reason they have to go run because they know like some things like cultural revelation, Then they change some, jewelries they can carry easily. So they wanted to go that way, go run way. And Garchen Rinpoche told my mother, don't buy amber. So all this barley have to donation to all this different monastery. So as monastery do the Nyingne Ritude, so you must have to do that. Don't buy these ambers. And he told them. Then my mother said she don't know. Then he said, okay, we go together, me, your mother. So then some area like my mother is at that time. My mother's mother lived not in the village. They have to go to 1 hour away from the village because it's a nomad area. So Garchen Rinpoche went there and told my mother's mother, don't buy embers. All this, the balis have donated to the monasteries. So then they did all the balis donation to the monasteries. So that time, like there's many monasteries struggling because not enough food. And so there, after, cultural revolutionary war, some this monastery, that time monks sharing the information, my mother, that serve all the monks and the nuns, many monasteries, because it's that food, then they transport all this barley to send to different monasteries, donation, and ask them to do the Nyingme practice. So donated that or everything. So then they have to run, because it's like cultural revolutionary. Also, they have family has many embers and like Z means like some Tibetan like kind of a one stone has eye, symbol. So that's also precious jewel and very expensive. So whatever they have on the way, they're lost, but nothing is a benefit. See, so actually, if they don't do this all barley is donating to the monasteries, is they buy the ember is no any use. It's become useless. They cannot eat that. They cannot keep that anyway. It's going to lost. So that kind of, when he was young, give suggestions and, is so kind of like clever in giving informations. Then, so anyway, my mother is also stuck in the prison, some reasons. So I cannot share long story because it's due to the time, we don't have much time. And there she have to transform to another state. So she stuck prison in the Lhasa state. They're going to transport to the another state. It's called the Ziling. Sometimes we call Qinghe. So she's going to transport there. And her with the king of Nanjing's Queen, his wife, king of Nanjing's wife, and also the king of Nanjing's, kids, they're together. So then my mother happened to the king of Nanjing's queen, wife, and they went to the Qinghe, transport to there. So my mother said, like, when she was other state, she kept the big samba and also butter, because she think it's like she can meet somewhere Garchen Rinpoche. So she wanted to offer him, So that's she kept always, in the transport to other state. It's a very hard trip, the transport. So then in the prison there, my mother and the King Nanjing's queen, they put in the same room together. So same room, and then they walk in the prison, labor came. So my mother said she saw the Garchen Rinpoche but cannot talk. And during that time she shared this information, King Nanjing's wife, is queen. And she said, kept quiet. So then when they get back home, so the wife, queen, she told my mother, yes, all this is like, Rinpoches, it's different monasteries. So yes, that is a Garchen Rinpoche, but we have to pretend and we don't know each other. So then, so kept going that way. My mother has a big zampa and butter. She wanted to offer that to Garchen Rinpoche, but no chance to give it to him, offer to him. So then one day, Garchen Rinpoche, he come to very close to, it's my mother's like the residential house, or like the house, where she live, and the King Nanjing's wife live together home. So they have, she said, very close. They have a restaurant. So Garchen Rinpoche pretending going to restaurant, but actually he just comes out looking to where's my mother's, like they live the house. He watched there and he just go and like restaurant, and he just walking around. He just like wanted to like meet something. He so know something, but then my mother told the King Nanjing's Kuan, sorry, this I cannot make clearly, pronunciation. It's a wife, King Nanchin's wife. And he told Garchen Rinpoche is there, so how can we offering this? I bring this tsampa and butter wanted to offer him. So the King Nanchin wife told my mother, we putting thing, take out the garbage. So throw the garbage in the restroom area. They have a garbage can. So we putting thing, throw the garbage. So this bring the, like sheep, another one bring the barley, and another one bring the butter, and they put somewhere, and then just went to garbage and throw there. Then they just say, my mother just said, like Garchen Rinpoche said, he no close there, but he can hear. My mother told her, he said Koncho Jamsing, so his name is Koncho Jamsing, Garchen Rinpoche's name. So my mother told Koncho Jamsing, I'll leave the tsampa and the butter. So then, so they went back to right away their home, and then they watch what he did. So they said he has a very long coat, and he comes like right away. He put in both over under the coat, and he left. Amazing, right? Yeah. So then, after that time in the present they cannot talk together. So anyway, there goes years, and one day Garchen Rinpoche, she said, walking in the kitchen. So he walking in the kitchen, and he have to cook food for the prisoners. And then my mother and the King Nanchin's wife and somewhere like there, Garchen Rinpoche saw them. He put the one big, like we have like vegetable, like big cabbage, or what is it called, cabbage, like actually kind of green vegetable, big one, like this kind of, like cauliflower, not really cauliflower, but broadly, big broadly, and the kind of size of the heads. He just, when he saw them, he throw away, That means like he giving to them. So then they took that one and went to home, and then my mother and the King Nanchin's coin, they don't have a stove, anything to cook, but then King Nanchin said, oh, this is a blessing, so we have to eat. So they eat like raw, this, what do they call the cabbage, right? Broccoli, that one, they eat it like raw, like that way, didn't cooked. So anyway, then my mother just stayed in the prison is like within 5 years. So then she released. So Garchen Rinpoche stayed in the 20 years. So then when I share with you, when I told the Refuge that time, so he come back in the hometown, and then he did this, joined that program. There, my mother meet first time after after the prison. So that's it's a background. So then that's just I can want to share with you today, like short story, and that's all. It's like I can see. It's like when he was young, he has clairvoyance, understanding what going on situations, and also another is like stories. My mother's father is passed away after Garchen Rinpoche told my mother, come to Gar Monastery. So he invited my mother come to Gar Monastery. My mother told him, Garchen Rinpoche, told her, I cannot go this year, so I can be maybe 2 years after I can come to Gar Monastery. He told my mother, 2 years after you go to Gar Monastery, nothing is there. So he told that, and then, so anyway, so that's kind of, as I wanted to share this, like some stories. And then I was become monk in the Gar Monastery. So it's when I was 13 years old, I joined the monastery. So say 7 to 13 between I stay in my home. Actually, during that time, many Rinpoche's teachers come to my hometown every year. So I don't have connections to others. So I always thinking about like my teacher is like, the guru teacher is Garchen Rinpoche. And when these teachers come to my home, because my mother has lots of connections with these Rinpoches. In some is in the present, like Nanjing area, you have many high Rinpoches. So they all come to my home. And also King Nanjing is like the sons, they have three sons. They all is Rinpoches, monasteries. They also come to my home. Actually, this all Rinpoches want I am their monk. But I always denied, I say I have a Garchen Rinpoche. So then anyway, 13 years old, when I was 30 years old, I joined the Gar Monastery. So then all the way to until now is, actually all the spiritual Garchen Rinpoche is guiding me. It's unbelievable, So when I have difficulty time, always there, always a guide, So that's I look back to thinking about is like not only this life connections, like of course have some connections previous lifetime. So otherwise like not like that, like when we talk the refuge, they have many kids, like only 4 of take refuge, but others didn't take refuge. The other who told for refuge, the kids, that no one has their connections. That's also like say due to the like previous life connections. That's I believe. And then have lots of stories. But when I was in Gar Monastery, and when he going to see the Khenpo Minister, and he sent to message my home. My home is like my home, and parents. He told them is like I want to take, that time my name is Khenpo Samdup. I'm going to take him to see Khenpo Minister, so prepare all his journeys. So actually, Gar Monastery has many monks, but that time who went with him, mostly they say, "Oh, I wanted to go to see Khenpo Minister." Then they can join with him, but I don't know. He asked like send a message to home and prepare. I'm going to take these kids to see the Khenpo Minister, like that kind of sharing. I don't know that. So anyway. We are, very lucky. I think we all have very good fortunate because we have connections, previous life due to the Garchen Rinpoche. So that's why I see that right now all Garchen Rinpoche's Sangha is very fortunate, has something connection previous life. So otherwise, like cannot be like this together, So we have to understand that, our appreciate, because this kind of connection is not easy in this kind of like degeneration time. So the Garchen Rinpoche, he is like we can say he's a living Buddha right now. Actually, of course, we have many different living Buddhas. Many teachers also have living Buddhas, but we have some connection with the Garchen Rinpoche. That means he has like love, compassion for us, that connecting with us, So that's the reason we are part of Garchen Rinpoche's mandala. So mandala is, very important. Actually, of course, each Buddha has mandalas. Each this living Buddha teachers has mandalas. But we have connect with the Garchen Rinpoche. We are part of the Garchen Rinpoche's Sangha, and we are part of his mandala. And that is like we have some, special connections, karma, previous life. And also due to our accumulation merit. So if we don't have enough accumulation merit, but see so many people in the world. So mostly this world, these people, no any, like spiritual connections, mostly. But some has spiritual connections, but due to the karma, because it's like some connect with the wrong religion, we can say, because it's due to the some is like violence, right? It's the belief that directions something is go to wrong way. Some okay, but not really that great connections. But so now I can see we all is fortunate because we have this great connections. First, of course, we have precious human body. Second, we have the special connection with the Garchen Rinpoche. It's living Buddha. So the true guru, teacher, you really understand when you practice the Dharma. Otherwise, you don't really recognize. You practice the Dharma, then you really recognize what means true guru, what means your teacher. You know, it's an example, so I can follow some couple things I can share with you. Example, like when we're going to do the generosity practice. So, you know, my feeling, my personal experience is like when I do some spiritual things, Garchen Rinpoche is always a guide there, connection there. So I'm going to do generosity, like I recognize his generosity. You know, that give me kind of more courage and also like strength, you know, more connections. See, he can give up everything for other beings. So I see that, then, you know, I also can help some others because I can, you know, do something for generosity, helping for others. That's, you know, like it's when I think about his qualities, then that guide me my generosity. So when I see his generosity, and his same is the actually in Zambala. You know, it's we have to think about that, follow, you know. So you recognize he giving everything for others. Okay, so that means actually generosity, perfection of generosity. That is like embodiment of Zambala. So he has that qualities. So then that helps me also my practice generosity and offering things. I can do offering things for, you know, Buddha Dharma, and can do something helping for others too, generosity. Then go to the morality. We think about like 6 parameter, you know. So think about 6 parameter, morality, and he has 100% practice peace, no harming for other beings. So when I see that, of course, then it's talk about that is a lot about information about this the you know, morality. But main point is morality means no harming for other beings. It is the create peace for other beings. So when I have to think about him, and then he no harming any living sentient beings, he always helping for other beings. So he has a perfect morality. You know, when we recognize that, see that, you know, it's like morality is also we can follow by 3 different levels. So the 3 different levels, like first, like see basic teaching, Theravada tradition is no harming for other beings. So that perfectly he has practiced. And Mahayana tradition, Bodhisattva way, so loving to other beings. He has perfectly, completely practiced that. Yeah. Vajrayana means like you have to seeing everyone is living Buddha. You know, pure perception, create a pure perception. He has that because he's seeing everyone is equal. No difference for anyone. It's all is the same. So that he has completely morality practice. When I think about that, also same is like, you know, Chinrezek embodiment of compassion Buddha. So when we think about that, and also like really help for my practice for morality, support my morality. So that is my recognize my guru, guide my generosity, guiding my morality. Okay? So then we think about third one is patient, practice patience. So Garchen Rinpoche patience is unbelievable. So that always helps me. When I upset, angry, and I lost patience, when I think about him, and then become, get more, bring back my practice patience. So even I see his pictures and think about him, really helpful. Then of course I have to think about his what he did. Some I know what his effort for helping for others, how hard difficulty he got through. So I recognize that. Then I'll say, why? What happened, Khenpo Samdup? It's like what happened. Kind of I can think about myself. Wow, I cannot do anything comparing to Garchen Rinpoche. So when I was young, and we go with Garchen Rinpoche, follow him. We follow him means that time we do the many drupchins and different villages in Tibet. So I told you that my mother's family also hosting the drupchin long time ago, before the Cultural Revolutionary War. So that, many villages hosting drupchins because this also follow the historic connections. And we have to go to villages 2 days, 3 days horse riding journey from Gar Monastery. So where we go to do the drupchins, and he do the practice the whole day, morning to evening. The drupchin practice morning to evening. When we eat dinner in the temple, that times they serve the dinner in the temple. After finishing dinner, he cannot go sleep. He have to go to blessing homes, or he have to do puja for others' families. Like that. It's 3 families, 4 families, 2 families, depending the puja. So whole night he go to do the puja, and come back morning. Sometimes very late morning, and just get into go directly to the puja again, morning section. So I already talked some stories with the Susu wrote the book, so I shared some stories when I with him that time, So I also be with that part, because one day Garchen Rinpoche, he asked me to come with him. So long journey, we went to the village in the nomads. It's 3 hours to horse riding. Night time is winter, in Tibet. It's frozen. So 3 days, 3 hours riding horse, and get the 3 hours come back and do puja there. It's already morning. So then morning he have to join the puja. So that kind he do every night. He never ever denied any request other people. So that is actually one of his activity, compassion for others. So unbelievable. So when I think about that, sometimes I don't get sleep. So I upset why I cannot sleep. So I think, why? It's just not big there, because Garchen Rinpoche, he does whole night that kind. He join next day puja, no problems. So it's okay, let go, don't get sleep, it's okay, just nothing big there. So that, then I think about that, I can release my problem too. Yeah. So that kind, he has practiced patience and benefit others. Really. So that is unbelievable. So then I think about that, and then that's really helpful my practice patience. Sometimes I lost patience if I cultivate what he did, and then my patience bring back again. So that is he guide my practice patience. Then think about the joyful effort. Yeah. So joyful effort, he never stopped practicing. you know, he benefit for others is never stopped, because I think that is his joyful effort. He keep benefit for others, he has joy. And he never denied that he has effort to that. So the many bodhisattvas, like long histories, like story has like that, but I didn't see the you know, like the life person have like that kind of joyful effort for benefiting for others. And we study where these teachings were of Bodhisattva and the middle way path Mayaminka teaching, and then we know, okay, the Bodhisattvas, like, you know, qualities, they hear something, you know, like someone asked to help, they're happy and joy. You know, when they're hearing the words, someone asked to help. So that kind of in the text we have, but I don't see the rare person like kind of like that kind of effort, joy to like benefit for others, never ever stopped. So whatever difficulty situation that he never stopped that. Yeah, so that is like think about that way, and then I get effort, and also he all put his effort is benefit others and practice dharma. So then I recognize, oh, I didn't have effort enough. Yeah. So I think about sometimes I think I did a lot, but then I think about, wow, oh yeah. Then think about Garchen Rinpoche. Okay, it's comparing that, it's nothing, only like 5% there, you know. So then that is like really guide, you know, practice a guide, like Guru guide our own practice. So then wisdom, no, the meditation, see meditation, the number 5 is meditation. So we think about meditate, like we say, okay, we did meditate 1 hour. So usually say we have group like do like meditate, practice 1 hour every day, like more than hour every day. Like sometimes we share the teaching like 3 hours, 4 hours, like Saturday, Sunday. So you listening, cultivate that. I thought you have really great patience and effort, and also like, you know, your practice that meditating. But I also think I did a great job, but it's comparing to the Garchen Rinpoche. See, our practice is like not much. See, we have 1 day, 24 hours, right? So 1 day we have 24 hours, then we did it like maybe 3 hours. So kind of Garchen Rinpoche, like kind of the just 24 hours actually not really stopped any just practicing Dharma. And it's all is in the meditation. So then meditation is like his, of course, personally he does just always like mind is in the natural state. That is his own nature. He go to in the own nature, but then he have to do some benefit for others. Due to that, he never ever stop. Always chant the prayers. So I like see no, he's like 84 years old. Still, I cannot chant. He chanting everyday prayers. I cannot chant that because it's too much for me. So then think about that way. So then I can put more effort and more practice Dharma. So that's easy, like guide my meditation and support my meditation, support my spiritual. And then his wisdom also unbelievable, because when he shared the teachings, is all is like comes through his actually is his own mind, means like not follow the text, you know, kind of like not follow the words, but actually his teaching is, I feel, is or is his own experience sharing the teaching for us. So someone who has experience sharing the teaching, someone just saying the words, is different. So words is like sharing the words. Many teachers can share, but that is more look like school education. is you can learn, but that not much affected your mind, like means transform your mind is spiritual. So you don't just get much devotion arise in your mind, and not that much strong connect with the spiritual dharma. So someone share their own experience and teaching, that's it's different, like you really feel, you receive, and then that helps your, your mind is transformed to the spiritual. So get renunciation samsara and devotion to Buddha Dharma Sangha. So then this all the 6 parameter practices arise. So that's the simple result also is like we see where Garchen Rinpoche goes, people wanted to use prayers. They wanted to buy prayer. And they wanted to buy these tankas, statues, when he comes, like everybody wanting these spiritual things and the spiritual. But then after we don't keep going, Then we buy these things, but after we don't use, just leave somewhere. And when he come back again, everyone forget that what you have. Then go to buy again, right? So that's actually he has this all practice completely, and that's we get feeling that we get feeling and some connections to spiritual. That is actually very good, We don't get this lifetime Buddha. But due to this we connection with Garchen Rinpoche, we are free from samsara another lifetimes. So that kind we have connections, we have to rejoice all our sanghas. We are because part of the already mandala. So then think about this, all the spiritual guide is like when you practice, like your guru is always there. But due to our emotions, obstacles, we don't recognize that, we don't fear that. Sometimes we think, I did something great. But actually, they always have some blessing by this, guru. And then we have to think about like guru and the yadam deity practice, right? We have to practice guru and the yadam deities. So you really recognize the guru is spiritual, guru guide your spiritual path. You really recognize that. Then guru and the yadam is inseparable. So when you practice janarasti, that time you recognize your guru is the same as Zambala. When you practice like morality, that time your guru is the same as Chinrezek. And when you meditate, your guru is the same as Buddha. So when you share the teachings, like you have practiced what you have to learn. When you study Dharma and learn, and then you recognize like your guru is the same as like Manjushri. So the guru can be all these deities, but if you have the hard to recognize that. That's the reason. So also in like say Tibetic cultural traditions and also the this time, this time and the Westerner and many like these cultures makes up together means like understanding. It's become this world is very small. We know each other. We easily share information to each other. Then some like Westerners ask question, His Holiness Dalai Lama, so they said like guru cannot be very Lama. We refuge to Lama is that's the hardest. Cannot do that. That thing is like because kind of like human rights. Not equal rights. So that is like not spiritual thinking. That is like for the worldly thinking. So that kind of this time is lots of misunderstanding people. Spiritual Lama means, it's in the text, we take refuge to Lama means guru. So Guru is always a guide for us. Guru is wisdom, Guru is compassion, Guru is generosity, Guru is patience, Guru is meditation, like that. All perfections, 6 parameters is Guru. So then some don't know the spiritual things. When you read this, sadhanas, the right way there, like get misunderstanding. So they say, should take out that from the prayers. There's some suggestion to His Holiness Dalai Lama. That's incorrect because due to, no equal right. So that's all is followed by the, worldly thinking activities. No any spiritual connections there. No any understanding what means Dharma. They don't understand what means Guru. So that's why they have a misunderstanding like that. So due to the time is like, I cannot do more, so almost finish. And thank you very much everyone. Join the just short sharing teaching. I just talk whatever comes to my mind. And this talk is like, the first, we have a message guide is like whatever comes to mind, they have to share. No any reading text and no just something, same is follow the teaching way. Something like own experience, what comes to mind, have to share. So that's I share with you. And wish you also that what I share helps you a little bit. So connect with Guru. So now then I have some questions I have to answer here. The question is, in the beginning of the sadhana, it says that we should take refuge while facing a southwestern direction. Would that be true for practitioners all over the world, or was it aimed at inhabitants of a certain region, so that they would face a certain place, e.g. the Kilasha, I think Mount Kilasha, so that practitioners in Europe better face east. So I think it's this question is come from the sadhana. Sadhana, I think is like Garchen Rinpoche given yesterday empowerment. That practice has a sadhana. That he shared the empowerment yesterday. There has a sadhana. So that sadhana, there I think said like we should take refuge while facing a southwestern directions. So this different kind of sadhana, the depending which sadhana you're going to practice. So then the reason is like see the different Buddhas is all the different directions. So some Buddha is like connect with West Buddha, like is Amitabha Buddha, and that's the reason they live. The Pure Land is in the West. Some Buddha is like connect with the Vajrasattva, is like teachers, and the Pure Land is East. So that's the reason the sadhana also, this kind of informations, like when you take refuge facing to southwest or north or, like east, like that kind, you can see that in the prayer. So when you take refuge, you can do that, where you live, you can just facing to the southwest and the take refuge. You can do that, but in this one is the thing is a Kilasha, the Kilasha, Mount Kilasha in Tibet. So the Mount Kilasha is in Tibet southwest, and that's why like maybe this person is question is like come from maybe think about Garchen Monastery is east. So from Garchen Monastery is Mount Kilasha is southwest. So that's why he think if the person is be in the Europe, so we have to facing to the east because Mount Kilasha is in the east, right? It's I think his question is like that, but this is not Mount Kilasha. This Buddha, you know. Yesterday, Garchen Rinpoche giving this empowerment, the sadhana is actually Pema Sambhava. Pema Sambhava purely is we always think it's sort of as. So that's why I think that when we take refuge, facing to sort of as and take refuge. So Buddha Amitabha also like some Buddha Amitabha prayer. When we finish the Buddha Amitabha prayer, they say, "Oh, you do 3 times prostration to the west because Buddha Amitabha Pyolang is in the west." That kind of have, but just you just mentally think that you don't have to really change your body directions. So this is the most important is your mind, your intention. So the practice all is followed by mentally mind. You saying visualize, and even you change your body directions, nothing make sense. Not much change anything. So main important is you have to mentally. You just think about like where you face and you think that is like sort of west. That's it. So if I sit right now this way, my front direction is south of west. So I think, oh, that's south of west. Pema Sambhava be there. So I take refuge. Mind is important. So intention. Follow the intention. Then another question is here. During this year, Rinpoche has kindly provided much wonderful instruction on the empowerments and the sadhanas, and I would like to know how to do. We arrange a practice schedule as busy lay people. I have been missing doing Tara sadhana each day, but only have time for one sadhana at a time day at it seems. And I feel very drawn to both sadhanas we are doing during this retreat and would like to continue practice them. I would be grateful for your advice on this. Should we do shorter sadhanas and do all 3 or 5 during the day? Yeah, so this actually everyone has this difficulty because the reason is like we thinking about this Yadam deity is different. So when we practice the Yadam deity, we have to think about it. They have like levels, outer level, inner level, and the secret levels. So, this outer level, we have different sadhanas, different Yadam deity, and they also have different rituals, teachings. But inner level is all same. It's no difference. Then sacred level is actually inseparable. Yadam deity and we are inseparable. So that reason, like if you really focus one practice the Yadam deity and you practice others also there together too. So then when you join group together, so you have to practice like the group what they're doing, you can join that practice together and then more focus with like usually what you're doing, practice. So like practice focus for one. But then sometimes like you have time and happy to do and then you can do others too. There is nothing complicated, anything there. It's no contradiction. Like you can do many sadhanas one day, but due to your time, then you just focus the most important one, what you're doing, principal sadhana. So you practice that, and that time. So example, like she says, she practices Tara. So Tara and the Pema Sambhava, Buddha Amitabha, all these deities is become inseparable. Form is a Tara, and then the essence is Pema Sambhava, essence is Manjushri, essence is Chenreza. You think that way and visualize, and then you done one sadhana. Actually, you did all together, so you don't have to feel bad anything for that. So you if you don't have time to do everything, then you have time, you can do all these different sadhanas. It's okay. It's great if you can. So then I also share, see, when I practice example, Tara, so I can thinking about, like, say, Tara is my Ru Guru, it's inseparable. It's that time Garchen Rinpoche also same is Tara. When I practice Chinrezek, I see he is also Chinrezek because it's due to his compassion, as fear, his love for others, compassion for others, like I recognize it's the same as Chinrezek. So then, when I practice Zambala, see, I recognize, so Guru is the same as Zambala. It's not separable there, actually same essence, same nature. So that way, like you practice one yidam deity, you recognize whatever you want to other deities want to practice, that's also inseparable, that mean deity together. So you can think that way. Okay, so thanks everyone. I'm going to do the short dedication. Ma ho ngom zara sanje nawan da ye dan ye se jo du je jen bo dang yon de sen ban de jen do nam lai sanje san sen ba min kor ji kor de je ngom zara ba de me ba ye de wa jin ye sa we shen gam de da yin de ne sen bi jer ma da je wa yin je bar ma ju bar Tere jine nande yardong yon de ge da ge mulan da bande so je san sen dang je ge men zhe bar sin je lab de so di ya da ben zan zhe ya a wan bo de na ye so ai san jiu sem jiu ren bo je ma ji ba nam ji jiu je Ji ba nyam ba me ba yang gong ni gong den pe wa re shu. Su nam de ye tam je zi ba nye tom nan yin be zha nam bam ze de. Ji ga nam je ba lang chu ba ye si ben co len zho wa re shu. Jam bar ba we je da ran che ba dan gen de zang bo de yan de yin de. De da gen je ji se da lo jen. Ge wan de da tam je rab de ngo. Shi zai kin zai kin qin qi jie jie dem zhe ne lai wan de zhi gong ba. Ren qin bar jie dem ba sin de bar xie zhou de zang gong ben zin jiu jie. Okay, so I forget one. It's a very important the the part of the I share the story. So in the present, my mother offered to Garchen Rinpoche the tsampa and the butter, right? So when he come back from the prison, he told my mother he really needed that at that time. So that's why he come there, waiting, because during that time many teachers with him, this all the different, like monasteries, Rinpoches, all with him, and everyone gets sick because due to the food. So they really need tsampa and butter. So when he get that and he give all this, like teachers, like who was there, everyone recovered sickness. And he said that is a big medicine for everyone. So my mother said, he said, Garchen Rinpoche told her, we're going to have you, it's liberate. You don't have to worry it. So that he told her. Okay, so that's the amazing, right? So actually, see, Garchen Rinpoche also, he knows he get something there. So that's why he come there, he retain. And so my mother has that. He knows that, I think, looks like, And then she also wanted to offering that. So he come to, he cannot get it directly, but he just pretending going to restroom and just, standing and kept going wrong. He stayed there. So then she saws like, and they're protecting, like they take out the garbage. So they throw away together, But actually, I don't think so. They have a garbage, but just they're protecting, throw garbage. So anyway, that's I wanted to share the good story, ending good story there. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So good evening, everyone. Tashi Dele, very happy to share short story. Thank you. Bye.